Demonic possessions are all the rage, especially when it comes to horror cinema, and since the early days of filmmaking, they've served as a stark warning and reminder of the cultural propensity for an underworld influence. We can learn a lot from horror cinema, mainly what not to do and how to avoid otherwise unfortunate events. And perhaps the best way to utilise that is to chalk up some of horror cinema's starkest warning signs. Hello horror fans and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. As per usual, I'll be your horror host Jack Finch, as today we take a look at the top 5 signs you might be possessed by a demon. Roll the clip.
2 spades, jack of diamonds, jack of clubs.
For the curious amongst you, that clip was from, of course, the 1981 Sam Raimi classic Evil Dead. And to be fair, if you've already found yourself in the vicinity of the Necronomicon, then it's already pretty much bad news bears from there on out, unless Ash Williams is about, so better keep your chainsaw fingers crossed. Kicking off at number 5, you get vomited on. And it seems that James Wan's horror franchise in particular really hammers home the fact that if you're unfortunate enough to find yourself getting vomited on by a demonic entity, then it's pretty much too late for you already. Unless of course you've got a team of paranormal investigators on hand, but really they're a rare commodity these days and you probably won't be lucky enough to get a Bathsheba I condemn you back to hell out of anyone. Well, in the events of The Conjuring, the demonic evil spectre known as Bathsheba Sherman voms up some nastiness in order to possess Carolyn, the mother of the Perron family, in an effort to make her kill her own kids. Well, it even crops up again in the later spin-off prequel sequel Annabelle Creation, where this time it's Valak the demon nun who vomits some vile black hell sludge over poor little Janice, and in that case I'm starting to get a little bit suspicious of all of this stomach acid action. What the hell are they eating down there in, well, in hell, I suppose. Coming in next at number 4, you can't stop typing. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Wait a minute, sorry, where was I? Well, it's safe to say that if you're in the process of writing a novel and you're suddenly unfortunate enough to be possessed by the demonic spirit of an entire overlooked hotel, you're not exactly going to end up producing Finnegan's Wake, unless, of course, you get possessed by James Joyce, which would be pretty cool, I guess. But the more likely scenario is exactly the event that transpired during Stephen King's The Shining, where the unwitting Jack Torrance begins a typewriter tirade of complete and utter idiom nonsense, much to the dismay of his poor wife Wendy. It's a trope that is often found in possession-based horror cinema, mainly in the form of an event that takes place where the audience realizes that a character has been doing something without their prior or present awareness. Standing in front of a bed for hours on end, a la Paranormal Activity, or, you know, falling asleep and accidentally entering an astral demonic plane without even realizing it, like in the events of Insidious. Yeah, you've got to keep your wits about you, else you'll end up as an axe-wielding maniac frozen in a hedge maze, and no one wants that. Next up at number 3, you'd like to live deliciously.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Yes.
And yeah, it kind of goes without saying really, but if the demon to end all demons, the satanic overlord of hell himself, Lucifer, aka Black Phillip, shows up dressed in a baroque and a feathered hat, offering you butter, a pretty new dress, and the promise of living deliciously, you know you're already in all kinds of trouble. Or not trouble, it's a matter of perspective, I think, just as the awesome Anya Taylor-Joy's character Thomasin happened to find out. Well, unfortunately, not everyone in horror cinema gets the chance to turn into a witch like Thomasin, and turns out being tempted by Satan and his host of demons isn't exactly a brand new trope in the world of horror cinema, and being offered something too good to be true is often a surefire way to getting yourself possessed by a host of demonic entities. Just like with Annabelle Creation, accepting a plea deal from a mysterious force to bring your dead daughter back to life just so happens to usher in the spawn of a demonic porcelain doll. In Hellraiser, even solving a puzzle box is the next step in the chain to getting a gash's worth of Cenobites at your door. Curiosity killed the cat and also summoned a demon. Be careful what you wish for, and all of the above. Swinging in at number 2, you've messed around with a Ouija board.
Oh yeah, well let's both play. You really don't want me to play, huh?
No, I do. Captain Howdy said no.
Yeah, this is probably the most directly obvious trope in horror cinema, because as soon as you see a Ouija board getting pulled out from a dusty bookshelf with a gleeful looking teenager about to give it a spin, you just know that a demon's going to show up at some point. Just as the unfortunate Reagan found out alongside her new best friend Captain Howdy, using a Ouija board in any capacity is basically the yellow pages for getting yourself possessed by old Pazuzu and his buddies. Well, as the 1973 horror classic The Exorcist demonstrated, one minute you're telling your mother about your imaginary friend that you did a Ouija board with, and the next minute you're waking up in your bed soaked in your own vomit and a priest has just thrown himself out of a window. Yeah, if that's not a cautionary tale, I'm not exactly sure what is. You see, Ouija boards are often the calling card of demon-centric horror cinema, so much so that it even got its own board game focused 2014 movie Ouija, which was hot trash. But the sequel, Origin of Evil, directed by Mike Flanagan, was actually pretty awesome. It's something that we can't deny in horror cinema. Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring franchise, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. If you've learned anything from horror cinema, it's to never, ever mess with a Ouija board. Not even once. And finally, our number one spot, you've got a cult in your treehouse. Also, fair warning, but there are some Hereditary spoilers ahead. You've been forewarned, and I'm aware that this point might sound ridiculous, but the reason that this particular demonic interaction makes our number one spot is because of how utterly horrifying the closing events of Hereditary actually are, and how if you ever find yourself in a similar position, I'm really sorry to tell you, but you're the brand new host of the demonic overlord Pamon, and there's nothing that you can do about it, really. The idea of a demonic cult, or coven in this case, is rarely pulled off correctly in horror cinema, but when it is, it's so nightmare inducing that nothing else can really compare. In the events of 2018's Hereditary, which is an incredible film aside, poor Peter Graham accidentally kills his ominous little sister Charlie, and then sets off a decapitating chain of events that finds him throwing himself out of a window before scaling his dead sister's treehouse, to realise that a demon worshipping cult has moved in and they want Peter as their brand new male host. We see similar themes in Paranormal Activity 3, where it's revealed that a demonic cult have been stalking a family, and it crops up time and time again to exacerbate the influence that demons have over their victims. One thing's for sure, if a demonic cult ever shows up at your door, just pretend that you're not in. Well, there we have it, folks, our list for the top 5 signs you might be possessed by a demon. Why don't you let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before we depart though, let's read out some of your most demonically charged dictations from over the past few days. First up, Fatima Wahid says, "Why am I watching this? I like romantic comedies." Well, to be fair, Fatima, there are some absolutely terrifying rom-coms out there. I mean, have you seen All About Steve? It's terrifying. Well, actually, on that note, I'm pretty shook after that thought, and unfortunately that's all we've got time for in today's video. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your horror Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 5 Scary Videos. Until next time, you take it easy.